Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. So glad that we are back here on This Is the Day. My name is Medrin Nyambura. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio. And today being Monday, I thought, how about you get some quick tips on how to survive these Nairobi or the different cities that are across the country. So what am I talking about? I am talking about personal security. Say in the case that we had the other day of a matatu that plies to Buruburu, I believe, that was carjacked. What do you do in such a situation? Or you're busy just minding your business in town, then you're mugged. What do you do? Or if you find yourself in a situation where there is a fire, given the cases we've had in the last 2 days, what do you do? That's basically what personal security means. And when the president addressed the issue of insecurity last year, he talked about security starting with us. So if it does, what do we need to do? We have one Dennis Thumbi. He's right on the way to come and talk to us about our tips for personal security. So get your pen and paper, and most of all, get your questions. You can talk to us on 22316, or you can WhatsApp on 0786 316 316, and your questions should be pertaining personal security. We were talking about security, and you've mentioned that instead of even going to specific situations, let's talk about awareness for the groups that are most targeted, which means women and girls. Literally, me and a lady called Hope, you cannot see her, she's off air. But yes, start us off.
Yeah, so I just thought it would be prudent to really help build the awareness levels around vulnerable groups, and really that's our women. And women, basically the girl child, technically. The reason I'm saying this is because a man can really fight his way, even though he's vulnerable in his own ways. Sort of men walk with a certain level of subtle violence that they can be able to defend themselves if an issue arises. Thereabout. But the most targeted groups, really, and the most vulnerable, then are the women. So it will be important for us to then raise the awareness levels around security and safety, and then, you know, help them walk in a type of consciousness that is prudent for their survival. Remember, the basic thing here that we're talking about is survival. You must be able to guard your life in some measurable way with some type of consciousness that will help you survive this very crude world. So that's absolutely prudent.
And you underline crude.
Yes.
So let's start with simple things like a matatu. So a very good friend of mine a couple of years ago was headed to her home, and she was urged to Kana dereva. It's a thing where you sit with the driver. And let me tell you, we found her 2 days later. She could not remember what happened. All she remembers is getting into a bus, into a small mat, and we found her 2 days later. So the minute you're in a matatu, what do you need to look out for?
It's not even a matatu. You know, one of the things that I said is that there's something that we call situational awareness. And it's the consciousness that danger is active and alive everywhere you go. And that you're a target, whichever way you are. There are so many incidents that I could list, but we need a year to try and quantify and classify them and tell them whatever it is that you need to do. But the principle is, there's a principle that we use, we call flight and not fight. You really don't have the machinery capability and skill to fight an incident, so we always recommend you to run. So fight, not flight, not fight. So that's absolutely critical. But there's a code that you have to live by, which is what we call, if things come to the worst and you're pushed to the corner, we say defend, disarm, then disappear. If you leave, if the lady who was dragged in a matatu, whatever it is that happened, if she had a level of consciousness, from the very first go, should have suspected that there's something wrong here. So the prudent thing would have been, if she's being forced, she would have to defend herself. And defending yourself, it means disarm the assailant in whichever way possible. Look for areas that will pain him for a year and just smash it. You just have to be violent at that particular point.
Can you scream as well?
Well, screaming will not disarm anybody who wants to harm you. You understand? But you can do both. You know, I hear that women can multitask. I've tried that as a man. I tried to evade traffic today. It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I couldn't just do various things.
Okay.
But I hear you can multitask. So you can scream as you do stuff. But a man, I'm screaming and I'm doing, you know, it doesn't just help
Okay.
well. But, you know, you need to, you know, defend yourself and disarm the assailant and then disappear completely. Just if you can find a way to get off that matatu, the minute that you think and you see that there's something wrong, and you even sense it. You guys have amazing senses. If a woman senses there's something wrong, believe me, we say it's like baba. Baba akisema kuna kitu mbaya, kuna kitu mbaya. But if a woman senses there's something wrong here,
Yes.
that's the time for you to seek flight.
Okay.
And because, you know, the problem is that once you try and defend yourself and you know, we don't know the harm and the contact that will get you. You might have a broken arm, you might be disabled, whatever it is that we don't know. Because once that type of aggression gets to you, then you are in deep trouble.
Okay.
But the first thing, if you sense that there's anything wrong, at the end of the day, just disappear. But what I need to say is that don't sit in vulnerable places. You know, just make sure that if it's possible, just sit away from the doors.
Okay.
Sit away from areas. There's a concept in security that we call it gray. Gray.
Okay.
It means don't be too visible or too loud. Don't wear big chains, screaming lipstick, big nice Beyonce shades or whatever it is, huge green cornrows, like you're a billboard in town, like everybody's saying, you know, Gucci bag.
Yeah.
No. Just wear your nice rubber shoes and a bit of flexible jeans that are not too tight. Don't expose yourself. Don't like tell everybody, hello, I'm right here, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And you just look as vulnerable as a spring chicken. Don't even try that.
Okay.
Just move as gray as possible and try to attract no interest at all. Then really you'll be as gray as possible. That's what we call gray. Like remain invisible. At the end of the day, there are areas where you can be visible. You know, at the end of the day, if you're using a safe cab, or if you're going to a function, or if you have family, or if you have your husband, or if you have a man, whichever it is, if you have your brother thereabout, you know that you have your protection covered, then you can sort of be loud and visible. But if you're walking within this vulnerable town of ours, whereby police response is a guaranteed half an hour. That one I can tell you. And in the night, it's 4 hours. So look, your insecurity, uko peke yako at the end of the day.
God for us all.
Yeah. So just make sure that at the end of the day, you're absolutely, completely gray, non-visible. And sit within areas whereby you have adequate time to defend yourself and adequate time to flight. You know, so adequate time also to kind of profile, this is dangerous and this is not dangerous. And I know, and I found myself sometimes daydreaming in matatus.
Yeah.
And lost. I'm in New York, but I'm in the dusty towns of Nairobi. You know, just consciousness is absolutely critical. And always profile everybody in the matatu. I'm telling you, I'm like a robot. Everywhere around me, I profile everybody. I look at their pockets, I look at their bags, are they bulging? I look at their hair, I look at their eyes, and their eyes just talk everything that's possible because I'm able to stay into your soul. So it's absolutely important for you to do profiling and thereabout. I think as we go by with this discussion, we'll be able to list the type of offenses that can occur to a lady or a girl, whichever it is, a vulnerable group it is. And then how it's possible for you to defend yourself or to profile yourself against such, so then you can walk in an elaborate consciousness that would allow you to defend, to disarm, and to disappear.
Run.
Yeah.
I think that the last part is what I'm good at. I can run for my life.
By the way, run.
Yes.
Run as fast as possible from trouble.
So what happens to people who walk in the CBD with their earphones on and big sunglasses in their pocket at their hands? Yani, then they're just cruising through life and anything could happen. Or even the people who read in matatus, your head is not there.
You know, you might want to look intelligent in matatus or to look like you're the one with it, with, you know, those stuff and all that. But let me tell you what, you're exposing yourself in levels that you have no idea.
Okay.
And those things make you look vulnerable. What in the mtaa we call softy or Barbie.
Did someone tell you about me?
You know?
Okay.
So there's a certain lifestyle that if you project it, then you look like, hey, this one, she looks like she's robbable.
Okay.
Or whatever it is. She's just vulnerable, you know. So just make sure that your eyes and your ears are alive to the environment, alive to everybody who's coming in. Even when you're sitting in a restaurant, don't give the door your back. I always sit with the back against the wall, and I want to see who is coming here, what's happening outside, what's happening inside. Am I at risk? And so when you're not able to profile that, then you're lost in some type of, a world that you can't even be able to save yourself. Absolutely. And let me tell you what, there's this type of mentality that we think bad incidents just happen to
other people, not us.
Yeah, me, I'm cool. And let me tell you what, when the enemy wants to make contact, the enemy will make contact. You'd better be ready. At the end of the day, you better be ready to defend yourself, to disarm that person, and to disappear. The best thing with assailants is that they're absolutely scared, and they're not strong people. You have a bigger will than them. If you smash them in the right areas, which is a Christian station, so we can't see. But the point is that then they are able to flight, and they don't want any kind of attention. So at the end of the day, when they discover that, because crime is opportunistic, and it goes for the weak and those ones who are not ready. It's absolutely opportunist. Nobody is waiting for you in town anajua wewe unatoka nyumbani, Nyambusha anatoka home, amebeba simu tano, no. Yes. They profile people in what we call lifestyle areas. So if I want to steal a car, I am not going to go into the Nairobi traffic. I will go into shopping malls. If I want to draw people of money, I'll go into supermarkets. And ladies love carrying big bags with what are they called? With ATM cards that they don't even use.
1,000 of them.
Some of them they deactivated 10 years ago. But you want to take 5 minutes to choose the one that is functioning. You're being profiled, and you don't know who it is. And then from there they can follow you. Thereabout. So you need to remain as grey as possible. If you're going to the supermarket, you're going to buy a Remis. There's that mafuta you guys like using. At the end of the day,
did you come to shed women? A Remis is good for your skin.
No, it's 200 shillings. I'm not sure how much it is.
Yes.
Just carry 3 reds maybe for your transport.
Yes.
Don't carry 10,000 to go and choose the least denomination and thereabout and buy it. Just remain grey as possible. Yes.
Another thing, driving at night. And there's a spot that has been highlighted specifically, I think, near Taj Mall, where they say a lot of carjacking is happening there.
Yes.
So you're a chick, you're probably driving alone, or you're driving with your girlfriend. And this person comes, gun to the window. What do I do?
There's what we call... there's, as I mentioned, that I had categorized various areas for people to understand, and I think then I can highlight them and just take them off my note. There's what we call safety during travel in public transport. Okay. There's traveling, what we call outstation. You're going out of your house or whatever it is. There's safety in hotels. There's safety in public places. We have safety at social gathering. We have safety at home, and then we have social media harassment. A lot of people don't talk about because it's real and it's a lot of bullying at the end of the day. And we have also other areas that we call crimes against women. We have the issue of molestation. We have stalking. We have even many things that within the category of sexual assault. We have voyeurism and many other crazy things that happen here. And we have even sexual harassment at the workplace. We have dowry death, which is what we categorize as marital harassment and marital death thereabout. And we have what we call kidnapping and adoption. And then we have the issue of rape. So there are a myriad number of things at the end of the day of how you're supposed to keep yourself. But you mentioned about, what do I do if I'm driving at night and thereabout. The first thing is that, as I mentioned, situational awareness is absolutely critical. And it's absolutely critical for you to understand what kind of environment that you are. Number one, so I'm thinking let me just give a typical scenario that you're leaving a supermarket and you've done some shopping. So you've parked within cars. So make sure you profile 5 cars from your vehicles. And this can be an issue of maybe kidnap and ransom or whatever it is, because we have them in Nairobi, just that they're not being reported.
They're not reported,
Yeah. So make sure you profile 5 vehicles from yours. If you realize that there's a male or even a female, because females are being used, like in Dandora, it is girls who are used to recruit other girls for gang rapes. That's their, like, it's information out there in the media. So profile 5 cars from yours. If you realize that there's a male who's been sitting idle for long within that car and they've been scoping you, they're hiding their eyes and they're acting funny, make sure that you go back to the supermarket, get a male attendant or get the wochi or somebody of the sort who can escort you to your vehicle. So you've managed to evade that kind of thing. And if you feel unsafe, call somebody to come for you. At the end of the day, don't be in any type of rush. The point is that don't leave that area if you feel at any point that you're vulnerable, somebody has been watching you or just following you or thereabout. And if you're conscious, then you'll know this. So if somebody follows you, the most important thing again is you need to maintain a constant speed of about 60 kilometers per hour, which is within legal means sometimes, or 50 or wherever you're going. But when you get into that car, just make sure that you've locked your doors, you've scoped around, you've worn your safety belt or thereabout, but maintain a safe speed and make sure that you're on phone contact with somebody, of course, using your wireless means or thereabout. Avoid shortcuts. Principally, number one. You understand? Even me in the night, I avoid shortcuts at the end of the day. I know I can fight my way through enemies and I can call people, whatever it is, but for what? That trouble is forward. So avoid shortcuts. Use the right vehicle. If you live in diaspora Rongai and you know your that area is a bit bumpy or whatever it is, and you're going to be forced to go 5 kilometers per hour or thereabout, and I know sometimes you cannot avoid leaving work late, try to see how you can navigate that journey shortly and possibly. Perhaps you can have a relative meet you at a safe point and then you drive together. Again, it's absolutely important for you to observe this, because sometimes security incidents have no recourse. It happens one and the situation is very ugly, you're never going to see that person again, or that person is maimed. It's not like catching a flu where you can medicate a whole week. An incident can go from bad to worse to fatal, and you cannot medicate in any other way. So you must prevent any disaster as soon as possible. So maintain a good speed. And it's absolutely important for you to be a good driver, because if there's an incident on the road, for example, the other day, there's a gentleman who was, his vehicle was sprayed about 100 bullets thereabout. What? You need to be conscious on the road. In fact, we say a good driver drives 5 vehicles. So you're able to detect what it is that we call aggressive driving on the road. And if you detect aggressive driving, the best thing, again, as I said, is flight. If a guy scratches your car in the night and you're a lady, even for me, I don't come out to check. Never.
Keep driving.
I will keep driving. Even if the guy scratches my whole left side, I know the damage is going to be 20,000. My life is worth more than that. I will take flight. I'll be Yuha Kankunet. I'm going to go like crazy at the end of the day to patane uko mbele. But you're able to detect what it is that we call aggressive driving. And aggressive driving, it means that person has an agenda at the end of the day. So keep a constant speed. Always try to be the car in front. And if you see the car in front of you is a bit aggressive or too slow, don't follow it. Tail by tail or thereabout. Just overtake vehicles nicely, but make sure that you're in the right lane. Take off. Sometime you might need to learn a bit what it is that we call defensive driving, and for you to understand how do I escape from one danger or the other. A lot of incidents, by the way, normally happen around the gate. So what we do is that we train you how to keep your environment safe, because sometimes we see that some houses around the gate, they are too bushy, poor lighting, and then we have what we call choke points. So choke points is if you enter and you're ambushed, there is no way you can drive out. You know, so it's important to make sure that around your house, around your gates or thereabout, is that from 100 meters, you're able to clearly see your gate and you're able to profile what's around you. And it's always important to tell people at home, that, hey, I'm coming, I'm 2 minutes away, I'm 3 minutes away, or thereabout.
Communication.
Sometimes women, especially mothers, they want to surprise guys at home, so that you can find if the kids haven't done homework or they're misbehaving. You're like, hey, I caught you guys. Maybe you can medicate that with some type of nanny cameras or thereabout.
Okay.
But make sure that you inform guys that, hey, I'm 1 minute away.
Okay.
So that if something happens at the gate, then they're able to know, hey, there's a problem. And then they're able to call.
Okay.
Again, it's very important for your family to know which numbers to call in case of danger. I can assure you 99% of families don't have any emergency numbers on security. They don't even know their local OCS. Do you know how bad that is? I know you don't.
I do.
Are you sure?
But my good friend from Texas, Pauline, you're saying that so if you're in danger, you'll call your mother to call the OCS. Steve Mbidi asking the same question. Please, see, we are all here to learn. Now you see you put me in trouble. The number is in my mother's phone. Isn't that good enough?
No.
Okay.
It's
Sawa.
really terrible.
I will find
because
it.
your mom's phone is your mom's phone and your phone is your phone.
Sawa. I will find it. Sawa. Take over the show, Dennis. Talk to us about security. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to highlight about something that's absolutely critical, that's safety at social gatherings, because women are naturally social beings, so you'll attend a lot of social gatherings and thereabout. And we've had many incidences of drugging and date rape and all those things, and sometimes you wonder, how did it happen and how can I avoid it? Again, the first thing is that just wear appropriate clothes, that if something happens, then you're able to take flight. And when we see you in the streets, going home, walking, and we're not going to wonder, hey, this one dropped from which, which place? She just dropped from us. So wear appropriate clothes. I'm not saying don't look nice and all that, but wear clothes that you can be able to take flight.
Okay.
So what happens is that perhaps let me just give an example with myself, is that I've called you out for a date, but you come wearing that very nice, expensive mini skirt and big shoes. You're not going to be able to take flight.
Especially heels.
Yeah, in that stuff. You understand? And maybe your outfit will be a bit too much revealing to the public, that you're not going to be able then to take care of yourself thereabout. You need somebody else to take care of you because of the way you're dressed. The other thing is just remain alive to any aggressive behavior. And we're just going to mention which ones are those so that you can stay alive to them.
Okay.
Somebody who behaves in a certain way, including in speech and other mannerisms, then they portend to be a risk to you. And then they become a threat. And you, by accepting that kind of behavior, then you highlight your risk. The other thing that's absolutely important, don't leave your food or drinks unattended. And that's where spiking happens. If you open a soda and you have to move to the washroom, finish that soda first. Go and relieve yourself and then come back and ask for something afresh. But never trust strangers with your meals or your drinks.
Okay.
Not at all. Especially with somebody who's been extremely sexually suggestive or aggressive in their behavior, and you can't trust them, you don't have a relative there, or somebody you've known at least for the last 5 to 10 years. Never leave your drinks unattended there.
Okay.
And then please just tell your caregivers, your relatives, your mom, your dad, where you are, so that in case of any incident, in case you're able just to pick the call for 10 seconds and they can hear some type of shouting, they know exactly where to come. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. It's risky.
I'm not hiding, I promise.
No, it's you. I know you. I know you. You're very good peeps. You're very good girl. But stop hiding. So it's absolutely critical for you to know that.
Okay.
We have other incidents like. One of the things that we talk about safety at home is that it's absolutely important for you to take care of your personal space. Like, take care of your home. Is that's your territory that you're supposed to take care of.
Okay.
When somebody knocks, there's that peephole. Chungulia. If you're not sure who that person is, ask them, who are you? And if they don't respond, please don't open the door.
Go back to the house.
Just go back to where it is, and try and call help. If somebody does not identify themselves, you have not invited them thereabout, don't open the door. And if you sense any type of aggressive behavior, call for help at the end of the day, and don't leave your door unattended. I go to places where if I come to your house and you don't lock the door, I won't even be able to listen to what you're saying. I'm constantly looking at that door and wondering anything can walk inside here, and I'm not going to be able to respond.
Yeah.
And you ask me offline, is it paranoia? No, it is consciousness.
I'm like, how do we live?
What do you mean by how do we live? That's the way it is. It's a jungle, this world.
Okay.
Just make sure that your space, that nobody violates it and nobody comes in uninvited or whatever it is. And, and again, it's absolutely important for you to always dress modestly. If you know there are many guys in the house and your door's not attended and many other things. The other thing that I'd like us to talk about is what we call social media harassment.
Yes, now that one is even getting to the extreme.
Yeah, by the way, this is the best way to profile people who screenshot everything in their lives.
And the open location,
I'm eating pork, I'm eating this, I'm here, and stuff of the sort. Please, social media are public platforms where you have 2,000 or even 1,000 followers, even 200. There's nobody in real life who has contact with actual friends. Even me as a politician, I can tell you, I don't have 200 friends who, they're about, but that I know them really personally. I might know them in projects and all that and many other things. And I know many thousands of people who even I look after and they're about. But what I'm saying, especially for vulnerable groups, it's very important for you to leave your personal details offline.
Okay. What are personal details like?
Where you work, your home, your mobile number, your family's lifestyle. You understand? And even some people, and says, they take photos everywhere, even in people's good cars. And us in the village there, we're thinking that you have a Range Rover, and we can send thugs to you. And we'll mug you, and you're walking in the streets. Na una kakitu bado. Mungu bado hajakubariki.
The blessing is still on the way.
It's on the way, and it's coming.
Yeah.
But you've heightened your risk by knowing that. I think it's absolutely important for us to know, where do I draw the line on just revealing too much about myself?
Okay.
Understand that social media is a public platform. You should have discretion. What you put online and what you don't put online. It's like walking in public. And that's and literally that is what social media is. So are you going to go to town and stand in the middle outside Hilton and say, hey guys, I'm eating this, hey guys, I'm doing this? It's crazy. You understand? I know you really want to look good and prim and all that, but there's a place for that. That's your private life. It's private to your very close friends and other guys like that. But you know what, when it comes to crimes against women, there are various, but unfortunately, is that 80% of them are sexual assault related. Is that the vulnerability? Let me tell you what, this is the worst statistics that you'll ever get about Kenya. Our corruption is doing well against other nations. But sexual crimes against women in this country, Kenya tops number 5.
Wow.
And that's an absolute disaster. Sexual crimes against women, we are ranking there. We are the Shabba ranks of like that kind of game. So it's important for you to understand what is molestation. What is even eve teasing. If you just pass through the mtade and guys are saying, hey, wait, hey, supu, that is aggressive behavior. You must be able to report it, because it's one of those guys who will
follow you at night, probably.
It is one of those guys, not anybody else. So you looking back and smiling and saying, hey, don't you're permeating, you're making them accessible and accessible. And I tell ladies, you don't have to say hello to everybody. Don't be rude. But even the parking attendant in town, please don't show them too much teeth. You need to show people that, look, this is just my personal space. And if you come here, there's going to be a problem. And you need to communicate that in the way you dress, the way you talk, and the way you walk. And again, the question of stalking is big in this country. We've had to train women against stalking. We have to ask them to change your numbers, move your residence, and stuff, so because they're dedicated stalkers
who will take the time.
Don't take a no for an answer. In fact, in this country, they think a no is a yes. You understand? So they'll say, she will mellow consistently. So they'll send you flowers, they'll send you whatever it is, and you need to be able to report this behavior. Because over time, it graduates. and it gets to anger, and this person will harm you to show whatever it is. And we've seen even in social media, somebody getting into your inbox and saying hi the first time. They're on your platform like crazy, and before you know it, they're insulting you and sending you news. What is that? They violated your personal space because perhaps you've never told them categorically, look, please, don't ever get here. Block them, cut them away.
Okay.
That's a clear message that you've sent. Then also we have voyeurism. Even King David in the Bible was a voyeurist.
Yes.
Peeping at women
the man
bathing
after
and
God's
stuff of
own
the
heart.
sort. You understand?
Yeah.
And it's big. And I can tell you, we as security guys, some incidents that even come, you're wondering what kind of person is it? You might have a neighbor who has this bad behavior. These things happen. The reason why women don't want to report them is because they are embarrassing and it's shameful. But confide in a friend. Walk into that, and I said it's absolutely important for you to walk into your OCS's office and just say hello to him
I will do
and
that.
get your number.
Okay.
By the way, get to know him. My OCS where I stay is my buddy. Like, I help them sort out stuff. We've organized community policing. A lot of people don't even want to get into Nyumba Kumi arrangements and stuff of the sort. Secure your area and secure your region. You should be able to say, to call an authority, not somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. No.
Okay.
You should be able to dial. The OCS is available 24/7. Those are the guys. That's a job that many people don't want. He has no sleep, and anytime you call him at 4 in the morning, he'll be able to respond.
Okay.
Then we have, of course, sexual assault. We have sexual harassment at workplace. That's grand. And that's, let me tell you what, as a politician, I tie this to corruption. The more a society becomes corrupt, the more a woman has to use sex as inducement to access services, promotions, and even jobs.
Okay.
Is that the reason why women have to fight, adjust for a just society? And then we have, of course, cruelty by husbands and relatives, which is tied to dowry death. Is where women die in marriages.
Yeah.
You don't die for anybody. If this guy is even harassing you and saying bad things and insulting you, we have a rate card where we rate the progression of that crime, and it starts just by teasing you and saying, I see nothing good about you, and thereabout.
Okay.
And slowly it grows into a slap, pop. Then before you know it, this woman is dead.
Yeah.
You know, so get to know what is the threshold and what is the limit. What can I take for this? Because it's shameful to die in the streets mugged by a robber. There's no difference with you getting killed by a guy who you thought loves you.
Okay.
It's at the end of the day, is survival. You must live to the end. Then we have something that, of course, is called kidnap and abduction, or sometimes we call it kidnap and ransom. In security is where people kidnap and then ask for money.
They ask for
that
money.
one is rife in this country. We have incidents.
Let me
Unfortunately, they go
say this.
unreported.
You know, most people think only the kids of the wealthy and the rich and the business people are actually attacked and kidnapped.
No.
Okay.
You can be working for an organization that is moneyed. You know that to save their brand, really, the people will know that you really have to pay a lot of money. So you have to understand when you're vulnerable, and you have to understand when you're a person of interest. If, for example, you're the legal officer of Kenya Ports Authority, and you know that they're fighting a big case, and you're the one presenting it, you're vulnerable. Please. Secure yourself.
Okay.
If you live alone, make sure that you have a male relative that you trust who can live with you. Make sure that you can also hire the services of driving services of a trusted friend. Just let them drive you to work and off work and thereabout. Just make sure that you pull somebody who can be a shield to you in case of trouble. But you must be able to define your vulnerability threshold. That I feel that I'm at risk. And women have that capability, and all human beings, we're able to sniff and sense risk and danger. And that's not an egg to sit on. It will hatch death. So it's absolutely important for you to know that, hey, I'm in danger. Confide with somebody and take immediate action. I still insist, please, not every policeman is corrupt. In fact, if we withdraw police in this country, we will be completely in
anarchy.
trouble. Get into your police station. Get to know your OCS, or get to know the person in charge of DCI, the Criminal Investigation Unit. Get to know your OCPD. just get to know your police person in authority who's supposed to look after you, and even discuss about the risk. They will listen to you. They listen. I have never called any police officer and they've refused to pick, because that's what they are wired to. The reason is I say that is because if they haven't profiled the risk, responding then will be, something that could take half an hour thereabout.
Okay.
And you can imagine you're under imminent attack.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely important for them to know, where do you live, what kind of resources can we help you, and even mobilize. Where I stay, we have excellent policing, community policing. Sometimes we avail vehicles for them. We avail mobile police stations or police posts for them. We just want to bring the police closer, just so that there's immediate response in case of danger.
Okay.
But always, danger is roaming and profiling you. I told you there's something that we call the attack cycle. And in the attack cycle, the first thing that you see is a planning cycle. Is where they profile you and they can follow you, and this can take as long as 6 months. Just somebody watching you and profiling your life. They're very patient.
That's very scary.
If you're not able to pick this guy who's always outside your house, just watching you at the bus stop, this car that has followed you twice, you understand? This guy who is on your Facebook wall, and maybe somebody saw you at a social gathering, and they went onto your Facebook profile because you post everything, including your promotion and how much you earn. And when you're on Kenya Airways, business class, and Emirates, whatever it is, you understand, and showing the tickets and the Wakanda passports and all that, and that kind of stuff. Then they know this person has got it. So they will move closer to you. And because you even post your home, sleeping now, watching whatever it is, thereabout, they can easily entice your security guard. And because you've recruited your security guard from a cheap security company, they're paid 5,000 bob. If the guy is told, I give you 50K, he will take. And because you pay your house girl poorly, and you're very aggressive towards her, she will also take money, and you'll be hit. You understand? So, there are various things that we could talk about in terms of just securing your personal space, including how you treat your house girl and these people who are very paramount to your care, and how you treat them just could make you vulnerable and heighten your risk. So there's a lot of things, but if nobody takes anything today, just take flight, not fight. And what we call situational awareness or consciousness of your environment. The fact that you're able to detect danger in advance and take measures. Either flight, defend yourself, disarm yourself, then disappear. Yes.
Dennis, you're out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But I know you do training on this, so people can reach out to you if they want to do this at family level, corporate level.
Yes. In fact, we have training modules for ladies, for families. So we have basically how you can defend yourself. We even have tactical classes. We even train you and teach you on what weapons that you can carry.
Here's what we'll do. If anyone asks for your contacts, we'll share them. I'm being told by my producer, time. Sawa, Meshach, Sawa. Thank you so much for watching the show. Hope you learned something. I got to your SMSs. So sorry I could not read them on air because I wanted you to get the most out of this discussion. We'll be back here tomorrow from 6 to 7 p.m. Radio to Patane 4 to 6. My name is Medrin Nyambura. Have a good night.